Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and I've got a very special video for you guys today. What I have here in front of me is the prototype for the brand new Baron Dark figure from the upcoming Skeleton Warriors toy line reboot. What? You guys didn't know? Skeleton Warriors are back! That's right! Thanks to the fine folks at October Toys, the Skeleton Warriors are coming back in a brand new line of action figures. Now, October Toys is attempting to kickstart this line right now with a Kickstarter campaign. So first of all, you guys know what the Skeleton Warriors are, right? It was a fantastic toy line from Playmates back in the 1990s, one of my favorite toy lines from that era. The figures are most memorable for the awesome skeleton bad guys. They are very cool looking figures. They were around the 5 to 6 inch scale, and they were just incredibly well sculpted and detailed. It was the type of detail we didn't really see on action figures in that era. It was a very cool toy line that Playmates put out, and unfortunately one that was cut way too short. It didn't last as long as we had hoped. There was a cartoon series that went along with it that was also pretty good, and just like the toy line, it just really didn't last as long as we had hoped. Like I said, one of my favorite toy lines from that era, so I personally am ecstatic to see these action figures come back. And I've got the prototype right here that they currently have up on the website Kickstarter.com. If you're not familiar with Kickstarter, essentially this is a page where you can back different projects. So they have a funding option available. They let you know how much money they need to basically produce this action figure line, and you can pledge a donation to get this action figure line in production. Now, of course, there are different levels of donations, and for certain pledge levels, you are rewarded with things like a Baron Dark action figure. You can almost consider this a pre-order system. If you pay a certain price and the project is fully funded, that means the project goes through and you get yourself an action figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at this prototype here, just so you guys can see what October Toys is planning to do with their brand new version of the Skeleton Warriors. Now, you might notice, first of all, he is a bit of a smaller scale. This new Skeleton Warriors line is going to be in the 3 3/4 inch scale. Baron Dark here is actually one of the largest figures in the line, because even though they're in 3 3/4 inch scale, Baron Dark is actually one of the tallest characters in the series, so his figure to scale is going to be about 5 inches tall. So, the humans in the line, like Prince Lightstar, he will actually be 3 3/4 inches. And just for a good comparison, what I've got here is the Power Lord, Lord Power figure from the 4 Horsemen Power Lords line. He's the 3 3/4 inch scale, so if you stand him alongside Baron Dark, you get a pretty good idea of what to expect when you get some of the humans in the line. They're using lots of media, lots of information from the Skeleton Warriors library. They've got the original series Bible that shows the heights for all the characters in there, and they're kind of basing the appearance on these guys from all the different pieces of information that they have. The original series Bible, the cartoon series, and the toy line. They're taking all of that stuff into consideration when making these brand new figures. So now that we know what the scale is on this guy, let's take a closer look at the figure itself. And the thing that I really want to focus on is the detail on this guy, because he is an absolutely beautiful figure. Just like those old Skeleton Warriors were really known for their paint jobs and their detailed sculpts, I think October Toys has taken that and have just gone even further with it, because the sculpt on this guy is absolutely awesome. I mean, come on, how cool is a detailed skeleton figure like this? This is just amazing. Great detail. You can see all of the fantastic details in the bone work, especially on the skull with all the little cracks, the great little kind of crevices and everything seen all through the skull. The way the bones look, very realistic, and I love the details. I mean, this guy's actually got a hollowed out Lee Perfect. You notice he's got those beady red eyes poking out of that skull there. Great paint job on the bone work. That's got that great kind of bone white color. It's got that dingy look to it. He's highlighted by some great kind of reds and purple seen all over his costume. He's got that red tattered cape hanging off of his back. He's got the black fur hanging over his shins there onto his feet. I love like the little shoulder pauldrons that are made out of like the shrunken head skulls with the hair that's tied together. All these little details are just absolutely beautiful on this figure. They did a fantastic job on this, and I cannot wait to see what they have in store for some of the other figures in the line. So, let's go ahead and do this while we're talking about the way he looks. it's comparison time! Here, we have the original Baron Dark figure from the Playmates toy line from the 90s, compared to the brand new October Toys version. So you can see the similarities between the two, you can see the differences, especially in the scale. This way you get a good look at the two side by side and know what to expect out of this brand new line. Now, another thing that's going to be so cool about this line is these brand new Skeleton Warriors figures are going to utilize the Goliath System. You know what the Goliath System is, right? I talk about it all the time in my videos, but if you're not familiar, the Goliath System, made popular by Onell Design, is this amazing system that allows the figure to be popped apart at all of the joints. That means you can completely take the figure apart. Now, I have a prototype here, so the joints on this figure aren't final, which is why I'm not really posing him around a whole lot. It's still loose and everything, but the final factory production figure is going to be the standard Goliath type ball joints and interlocking joints that you're used to seeing. For example, the Four Horsemen's Power Lords figures. I've taken a look at these just recently. The Skeleton Warriors figures are going to be very similar to these. So you'll be able to pop apart all the figures, and you'll even be able to mix and match the parts with any other Goliath compatible figure, which is incredibly cool. Plus you'll be able to mix and match them amongst each other so you can make your own crazy skeleton creations, mix them up with the different humans. You can come up with some crazy stuff. And another reason this is so cool, I'll just show you how we can pull this apart here. You can take the cape off over the head there. Another reason this is so cool, though, is in the cartoon series, it was very common for the skeletons to get kind of blown and scattered into bones and then kind of reform back together. So there's an actual practical reason for this aside from just being able to mix and match parts. You can pull these guys apart at all the joints here and take them apart and kind of recreate some moments from the cartoon where they get blasted into all the different bone parts here and then they can reform together. It's a really cool concept, and it's going to make for some really fun play with these guys. So there you go, guys. There is a early look at the prototype of the new Skeleton Warriors Baron Dark figure coming to us from October Toys. Like I said, I'm very excited about this. I think these are going to be so much fun, and I'm just really looking forward to this whole project getting funded. Now, since this is a Kickstarter project, we have to get it funded in order for the goal to be met so that these actually go into production. And I know what you're thinking, what about some of the other characters from this line? Well, the good news is that they plan to take this all the way through with these. So if this project gets funded, I mean, the sky is the limit with the Skeleton Warriors line. Not only do they have plans to produce all of the characters that we got action figures from in the 90s line, but we're also going to see some of the characters that didn't get figures before, like Talon from the Heroes, maybe some other characters that we never saw before, some prototypes that have been seen. There's potential to do all that kind of stuff, and George and Aileen are definitely interested in looking into the possibility of giving us all of these characters. Plus, right now, there are already stretch goals in place, which means if this meets its goal and goes beyond and hits some of the stretch goals, we'll be given some of the other figures like Prince Lightstar and some of these other characters. They're already listed on the Kickstarter page. So, if we want these toys to happen, we've got to make sure that this Kickstarter is successful. And believe me, I've got to get some new Skeleton Warrior figures. I'm a huge fan of the old line. I love this property, and I would love nothing more than to see George and Aileen get successful with this and give us an amazing new line of Skeleton Warriors action figures. Brand new versions of all the characters we had from the 90s line, plus all the characters that we haven't received yet. I want everything. And I want to see it done right in this incredibly cool new 3 3/4 inch Goliath compatible line. So, guys, the link to the Kickstarter campaign is in this video's description. You can also go over to Kickstarter.com, just do a search for Skeleton Warriors. If you don't back it, at least spread the word. Anybody that you know of that might be interested in the Skeleton Warriors, maybe you remember them liking the toys, liking the cartoon, they love this vintage stuff like this, send them the link to the Kickstarter. Let's make... Until next time...